imagination, and this is what we are going to do. Picture yourself, picture yourself embracing the woman that you love, whoever she is. It could be your mom, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your fiance, it could be your sister. Picture yourself embracing her. Now, the person you just embraced is not the person you think. Rather, the person you just embraced is called vulnerability. Vulnerability. And by that, I want each and every one of us to embrace our vulnerabilities. Yes, men and emotions. I want us to embrace our vulnerabilities. Okay, so before being a man, you are first of all a human being, and emotions respect no gender. Your emotions, our emotions, does not take into consideration if you are male or if there are females out there. Before you were a man, you are first of all what? A human being. Now, you see, the theme of this conference says, men don't cry. Men don't cry. If you could pick a sheet of paper and a pen, write down those three words. Men don't cry. Write it out. Men don't cry. Now, get your pen and strike off don't. By the time you strike off don't, what do you have left? Men cry. Yes, men cry. You see, I wish I can cry before us, but let's leave that for later. Now, there are a few things I want us to know. There are five truths, five basic truths that I want us to know about being a man. Five basic truths. Number one, men and women are both emotional and logical beings. Men and women are both emotional and logical beings. If you can hear me, let me be sure that every single person is hearing me right now. So please, if you can hear me, just indicate on the Telegram group. Just indicate on the Telegram group, and then for those on Zoom, I can see you guys. Just wave. For those on Zoom, just wave. Okay, great. I have a response here from Telegram. For those on Zoom, if you can hear me, please indicate. Okay, great. Beautiful. All right, so we proceed. So, like I said, the first truth is men and women are both emotional and logical beings. There is no such thing as women are emotional beings and men are logical beings. That's a lie. See, that's what we've been taught over times, and we forget that the human brain, it has a left side and a right side. And you see, the left side is the logical side, your thinking side, the analytical side, and the right side is the emotional side, the feeling side, and the creativity side. So what we've been told over time is that women use the right part of their brain and men use the left part of their brain. But research has shown us that human beings out there, just a few persons even get to use their left side. So does that mean that all the men in the world are dumb? Because yesterday we got to understand that a lot of men act without thinking. So it means we act without even using our left part of the brain. So what happens to the right side? So guys, men and women, are both emotional and smash it against the wall, or pick up something and hit it. If you take that action, you are reacting to the way you feel. You are reacting to your emotions. If you feel depressed and you feel like committing suicide and you take that step, you are reacting. You see, the reason why a lot of guys out there are committing suicide is because they are reacting to their emotions. Yes, they are reacting to their emotions. If you feel under pressure and you are not able to calm yourself down, but you get carried away with everything and then you lose control, what you just did was to react to your emotions, was to react to your feelings. But rather, we have to respond to our emotions. How do you respond to your emotions? First of all, by identifying and recognizing how you are feeling. So you're probably feeling angry. Pause and tell yourself, okay, I am angry. You're feeling depressed and you're having suicidal thoughts. Own up to it. Own up to those emotions. Own up to it. Tell yourself, this is how I'm feeling. I'm good. I'm feeling angry. And I feel like committing suicide. And this and this and this is what I want to use to kill myself. I am feeling angry and I feel like picking up the phone and throwing it across the room. I am feeling angry and I feel like raising up my hands and hitting this person. What you're doing right there is that you are responding. You see, the process of responding to your emotions is actually engaging it in a conversation. Talk to yourself. When those emotions arise, talk to yourself. Yes, speak to yourself about it. Don't just act. Remember, yesterday we were told, don't act on how you feel. Don't act the way you feel. You need to give yourself time to think things through. Think things through. Number 3, the third truth I want us to know is this: you must act like a man and think like a woman if you want to be emotionally intelligent. Yes, act like a woman, act like a lady, think like a man is the title of a good book. Today I was having some engagement on Instagram, and trust me, I have really, 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 really been inspired to work with a couple of persons to write a book on think like a woman. So, but you see, as men, for you to be emotionally intelligent, you must act like a man and what? Think like a woman. Society has told us for a very long time that women are the ones that are what? That are the emotional beings. Women are the ones that are emotional, and men are not emotional. So women, when they tell you be a man, what you're thinking of is being all chauvinistic, being all macho, and stuffing up your emotions in there. Not owning up to your emotions, bottling up things, lifting up your head high and moving as if nothing is wrong. If you really, really want to be emotionally intelligent, if you really, really want to work on your emotions, then you have to act like a man and then think like a woman. Because the women are the emotional beings. So you need to get into there, you need to think the way they are thinking. Let me give us a scenario. A scenario on, let's take for example, a man and a woman. They both break up. So they have a heartbreak. They have a broken relationship. The relationship has ended. You see what's going to happen in that scenario? The lady is going to cry, gather her friends, talk about the man that they ended the relationship with, whoever is the one that did the breakups, even if it's the lady that did the breakup, she would feel it. She would feel it. So she would talk about it. She will even, get herself some food, drinks, snacks, eat, watch a movie, and cry over it. And guess what? Next moment, she has moved on. She has moved on. But for the guy, we don't do that. We would bottle up everything. And we would be the ones that 5 years from now, we would be looking at the picture of our ex. Let's say we had like 5 ex. So we would be the one looking at the picture of our ex, and we are missing them. See, the woman does not care about you anymore. She doesn't, because she has moved on. Yes, she has moved on. She has responded to her emotions. That's how women think when it comes to heartbreak. She has moved on, but for the guy, you see, we don't know how to do it, so we bottle up everything, and then we carry on like we are macho men. Meanwhile, we are dying inside of us. Number 4, the fourth truth I want us to understand is this: be a man. Be a man. When you hear people say, be a man, be a man, be a man, be a man means embrace your humanity. Be a man means embrace your humanity. Yes. You are not permitted to embrace your humanity if you cannot be a man. And I'll sit in the reverse. You are not permitted to be a man if you cannot embrace your humanity. So what does it mean to embrace your humanity? We've already laid the foundation that men are also emotional beings. Okay? And we've already laid the foundation. I started by telling us this, that before being a man, you are first of all a human being. You're first of all human, and emotions does not respect gender. You need to embrace your humanity. You're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad. Don't bottle it up. Don't. Don't bottle up those feelings. Because you see, the more you bottle up those feelings, yesterday we learned about the two extreme men. We learned about the people that act based on how they are feeling, and the other extremists are the people that don't show their emotions. What leads to the second extreme, where people do not show their emotions, is because over time we have bottled up things. Yes, over time we have denied, we've ignored the way we are feeling. You're feeling pained, you're feeling hurt, you are feeling cheated. Respond to it. Own up to it. That feeling is yours. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody. That is what makes you human. The less human you are, the less manly you become. The less human you are, the less manly you become. The more human you are, the more manly you become. And embracing your humanity means owning up to your emotions. Owning up. How are you feeling? You see, when they say, how are you? We say, fine. It's a lie, oh. We know it's a lie, guys. We know that many times when they ask us, how are you? We know that there is something inside of us that we really, really, really deeply want to talk about. But we can't. We can't. You see, last year I started a WhatsApp group called The Real Conversation, where men talk about their issues. It was a struggle at first because I knew that many men would not come out to talk about the things that they are going through. So I had to start with my own story. I went anonymous sometimes. And you could see how many persons were rushing into my DM, and they were opening up. They were opening up. They were opening up. And again, early this year, I also launched a podcast, M2M session. And it ran, and it has been running. And some weeks back, I made an invitation for young men to send me an email talking about what they are going through. And I was amazed. I was amazed. Early this month, while on Twitter, I did the same thing. And you could see how these young men had bottled up so much, frustration, had bottled up so much pain, but no one to share it with, no one to talk about it with. First of all, of course, we feel like we can't trust anybody. Don't worry, I will tell us what we can do. I will tell us what we can do to handle our emotions properly. Number 5. The 5th truth I want us to know is this: it is an honorable act to cry. It is an honorable act to cry. Oh, yes. Crying is an honorable act. Crying is not specially designed for the weaker vessels. Crying was designed for honorable vessels. Crying was designed for honorable vessels. Even kings cry. It shows that they are human. Yes, it shows that you are human. So don't feel ashamed when you have those emotions rushing, and the only thing that is in your mind is to cry. Let those tears drop. Yes, let those tears drop. It is called tear drop because they are meant to drop. Allow them to flow. Allow them to flow. Okay, let's move on. How to handle your emotions. So how can you handle your emotions? You're feeling angry, you're feeling under pressure, probably you have heartbreak, you're feeling hurt, you're feeling pained, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling depressed. Or, the one that we don't usually talk about, you are in need of love. Human beings were designed to need love. Yes. You see, we think that it is only women that need love. It is a lie. Even men need love. Let me just say this because this is a conference, and we have just men in here. So I'm going to talk about this right now. You see, it is easy for a woman to remain faithful compared to a man when they are married. That's because the woman is able to own up and to embrace the fact that she is in need of love. So she knows what she wants, she sees it, and she goes after it. But you see, men, having the need for love and not owning up to that need for love makes us chase after shadows. So you're looking for something. You've not been able to identify what it is you're looking for. This is what you want. This is where you're looking for it. This is how you want it. There's a book on 5 love languages. See, every man has his love language. For some people, it's gifts. You see, so for some people, it's touch. For some people, it's quality time. You know, for some people, it's acts of service. So because the women are able to identify this and own up to the fact that yes, they need love. And we men, we don't own up to this. So you see, we don't even spend time to identify our love language. So we see something and we go to it, and then when another lady is giving us gifts or giving us the quality time and attention, making our ego rise because we've not been able to communicate to this other lady, then we move. I tell you wholeheartedly, if 80 to 85% of the men in our society can own up to their neediness, to the fact that we need love, the issues of cheating, the issues of infidelity, the issues of unfaithfulness in relationship would be reduced. It starts there. I'm not saying that's ultimate. It starts there. Because you see, when you own up and you realize that you need love, you've already begun the journey of learning your sexual makeup. A topic for another day. All right, so how to handle your emotions? How to handle your emotions. Number one, of course, you should already guess it. Number one, vulnerability. 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 You have to be vulnerable. That is why I started, when I started, I told us to imagine we're embracing vulnerability. It starts there. Bring down your guards. Bring it down. Bring it down. Break down those walls. Yes, break down those walls and get vulnerable. Get vulnerable with yourself. Get vulnerable amongst your friends. Get vulnerable amongst those who are close to you. Now you would be asking, who will you be vulnerable to? Who can you trust to be vulnerable to? It takes me to the second point of how to handle your emotions. Number two is accountability. The second way to handle your emotions is by being accountable. These are the two things you need to handle your emotions: vulnerability and accountability. Find someone you can trust. Find a friend you can call brother. Amongst our circle, there is always someone. There is always someone who will understand how we feel. Find that person. Cling to the person. Find that person. Trust the person. Find that person. Be vulnerable to the person. Find that person whenever you mess up. That is the person you run to. Go and meet the person and tell the person, okay, I want to be accountable to you. See, the truth is that person would also be looking for who to be accountable to. In many cases, if he doesn't already have an accountability partner, which I doubt that many men have accountability partners. As men, we need to start setting up accountability structures for ourselves. Somebody must hold us accountable beyond our mentors. Somebody must hold us accountable. You see, an accountability partner is not that friend that you go and then you talk about the things that happened, and then you end up laughing together, you end up smiling together. No, 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 no. Your accountability partner will tell you the truth point blank. If you messed up, he tells you messed up. If there is something you need to address, he tells you go and address it. He will understand, but if you need to be rebuked, he will rebuke you. Yes, get an accountability partner. Those two things. Because to effectively handle your emotions, you must be ready to be vulnerable and accountable. If you're not ready to be vulnerable, you see, the way I see vulnerability is being naked and not ashamed. Being naked and not ashamed. That you're able to expose your flaws to someone. You're able to expose your weaknesses. Just in case you need a reason and you need a motivation to be vulnerable, you can search for my podcast either on Spotify or Amazon Music or Anchor, M2M session. I took out time to be vulnerable to the world, to every single person. Hear me. I did not just start that way. I have accountability partners. I have learned over time to be vulnerable to them. So those things, as I'm saying it, no, I wouldn't say it doesn't hold any water, but you see, on M2M session every Friday, it is a time for me to be vulnerable. You also need to be vulnerable. It will do you good. This is what vulnerability does. When you pump air into a balloon, the more you pump the air, the more you pump it, the bigger it goes. The bigger it goes. And when you refuse to be vulnerable, you are pumping air into yourself, unused air, unwanted air, unproductive air. You are pumping bitterness, you are pumping pain, you are pumping hurt, you are pumping jealousy, you are pumping pride, you are pumping anger into yourself. And guess what? Guess what happens? When you pump so much air, it is either the balloon will get so big and it will, of course, burst, or a little pin that punctures it, poof. See here. I'm using a balloon for example. If you release the air from a balloon, the sound you hear when you're releasing the air from the tip is different from the sound you would hear when you release the air with a pin. The reason why many people burst out, why many men transfer aggression, why many men display their anger, they fight, they react out of anger, out of rage. They are unable to control these feelings. They commit suicide. It's because they have bottled up these emotions for so long. It has piled up. They have not been able to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable releases the air from the balloon. But failure to be vulnerable is picking up a pin and bursting the balloon. So when you fail to be vulnerable, I can assure you that one day, those emotions that you've been piling up, it will burst. And you may not have any control over it. So why wait till that time when you can get vulnerable now and accountable? Being vulnerable and accountable is releasing the air from the balloon, releasing the air gradually. It's a painful process, it's a hurtful process, it's taking away something from you. But you see, this is it. When you burst the balloon, you lose it. When you release the air from the balloon, you keep and you preserve the balloon. Don't lose yourself to emotions. Don't lose yourself to emotions by bursting out. Preserve yourself by releasing the emotions. Preserve yourself by being vulnerable. As future fathers, I'm going to be ending right now so that I can take questions. As a future father, as future fathers, take note of this. You need to be emotionally available for your children. You need to be emotionally available for your children. Many of us know that while growing up, you know how it was. You need to be emotionally available for your children. Yes. We have a society. We have a society of defunct men, young men. The cultist came out from a home. The armed robber came out from a home. The homosexual came out from a home. The rapist came out from a home. The drug addicts came out from a home. The alcoholic man came out from a home. The man that is beating up his woman came out from a home. Charity, they say, begins from home. I'm speaking to us right now as future fathers. We can change our future generation, and we can change the type of men that we are going to raise if we as future fathers will make up our minds to be emotionally available for our children, especially our boys. When those thoughts are coming in, when their peers are trying to have influence over them, sit them down, find out what is going through their mind, find out how they are feeling, be emotionally available for them. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop here right now, and I'll take questions. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'll take questions. Right, you can start sending in your questions right now. Okay. Okay, so there's a question here. Sir, please, what happens if one is vulnerable and at the end of the day, one takes advantage of this vulnerability? What do you advise if this actually happens? So what happens if I decide to be vulnerable to somebody, and at the end of the day, the person takes advantage of my vulnerability? What do I advise if this happens? Okay, first of all, I want you, the person, because this is, every man has this fear. Of course, trust me, before I became vulnerable and accountable, I had that fear. First of all, you need to work on your mind. You need to tell yourself that, okay, I trust this person to keep my secrets. You need to tell yourself that you trust the person to keep your secrets. Okay? You need to tell yourself that. Then, if eventually it happens that, now, I've seen it happen a couple of times when a man is vulnerable and accountable to the opposite sex. There's a high tendency that you will be taken advantage of as a man if you are vulnerable and accountable only to the opposite sex. I've been there before, and I've seen and I've heard many scenarios. So don't, as much as it lies within your power, Don't be accountable and vulnerable to a woman, to a lady. Don't. Reasons being that, let me use the word makeup. The makeup between a man and a woman is different, especially now that you're single. Is different. Or of course, as future husbands, the number one person after the person that you've always been accountable and vulnerable to, the next and number one and most important person that you must be vulnerable and accountable to is your future wife. So back to every single one of us now as single men, as bachelors. As much as possible, don't be vulnerable and accountable to a lady. Now, if it happens that you're vulnerable and accountable to a man, let's talk about the men now. Because if it's a woman, there are high chances that it could happen. But now, what happens if it is a man? And also, let me also handle from the other side. What happens if it is a lady? If this happens, first of all, draw the person's attention. Draw the person's attention. Let the person know how you feel. Remember, we are talking about having a conversation, the way to respond to that emotion, because at that point you will feel betrayed. This person has betrayed me. So if you shut yourself out from the person and say, this thing has happened, I will never be vulnerable to anybody again, you are reacting to your emotions. You have to respond to it. How do you feel about what that person has done? You feel hurt, you feel betrayed, you feel like you can't trust anybody. Go and meet the person and tell the person exactly how you feel. Tell the person that you least expected it from him or from her, that you expected that the person would have kept it private and confidential. And just in case, just in a way to prevent this from happening, if you're skeptical, what if it happens? Let the person know from day one. Please, I wouldn't want you to take advantage of my vulnerability. If you can't do it, we move. I find someone else. Okay? All right. I hope I've answered that question accurately. Okay, so, all right. So there's another question here. Okay, all right, great. Okay, I've answered it accurately. Okay, second question, I really love this question. I don't know why I'm laughing. Okay, is it wrong to cry before a woman you are in a relationship with? Uh, okay, is it wrong to cry before a woman you're in a relationship with? Okay, okay, let me answer it from this perspective. Okay, let me answer it from this perspective. If you can cry before a lady or a woman that is your friend and that you are not in a relationship with, then you can cry before a woman that you are in a relationship with. There is absolutely nothing wrong. See, let me tell you what will happen if you cry before a woman that you are in a relationship with. This is it. Women have learned to master their emotions. That's why society has tagged them the emotional beings. But you see, we've corrected that both men and women were emotional beings. So if you are able to get to the point where you allow the woman that you are in a relationship with see your tears, what will happen is that you will foster a stronger bond in that relationship. She will realize that, wow, this man, eh? This man is emotional. Every woman is looking for a man that will be emotionally available for them. Imagine if she comes and meets you and she's crying. What you should be doing is not just tapping and saying, he's well, he's well, he's well. Listen to her and also cry with her. That will foster a connection. If it is now your turn, she may not even cry for you, but she will say, why are you crying? Do you want me to cry? Do you want me to cry? Stop crying now. and all that. Guys, there is absolutely nothing wrong with crying before a woman you are in a relationship with. Okay, all right. All right, so that does that. Okay, so there's another question here. Great, there's another question here. All right, good evening, sir. In a scenario where a guy is emotionally drained because he is not getting the same energy he is giving into that relationship. So I guess you're asking, what should he do? Wow. Okay. You're emotionally drained because you're not getting the same vibe. You're not getting the same energy as you're giving in that relationship. Already you're feeling cheated. The first thing to do is communicate. Yes, communicate. You see, see our issues as guys. Our issues as guys is that we don't like talking about things. You see a woman. Remember, I said what? Act like a man and think like what? A woman. You see a woman. If something happens in a relationship and she doesn't like it, she will talk about it. We may call it nagging, but you see her, she has released it or she has told her mind. She's talking about it. Next moment she's gone. That issue has been settled. But we guys, we will not talk about it. We will keep quiet. We would bottle it up. One day we would explode. Guys, we need to learn how to talk about things, especially things going on in our minds. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling like, talk about it. You need to learn how to talk about things. See, guys, permit me to use this word. You are permitted to nag. Nag. Because, of course, part of thinking like a woman is, that nagging part. What she's doing is that she doesn't want anything to hold her back. Oh. So talk about it. So with that lady, you're not getting the vibe. Sit her down. Now, you're not sitting her down to have like a serious conversation. I say, baby girl, I'm not feeling the vibe anymore. No, 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 no. Or making it an issue. Have seen guys who tried to talk about things that they were feeling or going through, and it ended up in a quarrel. Why? Not because the woman did not handle it well, but because the man did not handle it well. Yes, the man did not handle it well. So before that type of conversation comes up, think about it. Think about the words that you will use. Sit down with yourself and have that conversation as if you're talking to her. And plan how you want it to turn out. Because sometimes in our mind, we've already thought about it. If this woman talking in us, I'll slap her and we'll break up. No, that's not what you want. Plan what you will say, and if I say this one, will lead to a breakup. If I say this one, we will argue. If I talk about this one, we will have a peaceful resolution. Remember, now you are doing what? You are responding to how you're feeling. Yes, you are responding. So now, don't just talk about it that way. Take her out for a date, for a lunch date. And while you are complimenting her, you're complimenting her dress, you're complimenting her hair, complimenting her makeup, her choice of food, then just chip it in. You're not chipping it in as if it is a problem. Don't talk about it as if it is a problem. Talk about it as if it is something that you want an improvement. It is called critical and creative criticism. So that she will not feel as if you are attacking her. So you could just say something like this. I like the way your hair looks. You look beautiful today. Um, you know, I'm really, really enjoying our relationship and I'm looking forward to your energy matching up to my energy. I'm looking forward to my vibe matching up to your vibe. That's the first step. That's the first thing to do. Chip it in that way. You've sent a message to her. You sent a message to her. You did not bring it up as if it is a problem. Great. You get? Yes, you've sent a message to her. You not bring it up and say, hey, yeah, I'm feeling emotionally drained. Can you match up my, no, it will not work. Because you feel as if you are demanding something from her. She might get defensive. So in that date, in that launch, they chip it in, chip it in, appreciate her. Tell her, wow, I look forward to I look forward to our next date when you would be increasing, increasing your emotional energy. Maybe there's something you're looking for. Eh? Maybe there's something you're looking for exactly. Maybe you are the one calling her and she's not calling you. Maybe you're the one giving her gifts and she's not giving you gifts. Maybe you're the one always visiting and she's not visiting. Whatever it may be, tell her, wow, I look forward to picking up your calls more often than not. I look forward to seeing you calling me more than I'm calling you. Something like that. Okay? Hope I've been able to answer that. Thank you. Okay, now, yeah, a question. What if in a case we talk and talk, but nothing changes? Now, that's what I was trying to explain. You're talking and talking, but nothing changes. Change the approach. Change the approach. See, there's something called timing, and we guys, we don't know how to choose our moment. You need to learn how to choose your moment. You get? So you need to pick the right timing, and that's what I was explaining. You've spoken about it and nothing changes. Change your approach. Sorry, change your approach. If you've tried this approach and it doesn't work, oh yeah, now buy her, surprise her, buy her shawarma, and inside that shawarma, write a note for her, compliment her, put the note and give her. While she's eating the shawarma, she's reading the note. Now, change the approach. Change the approach of the way you're talking about it. Okay, so another question here. What about a situation whereby the woman always puts blame on the guy, no matter how the guy tried to please her? And in the guy's mind, he is trying his best, but to the lady, it's nothing. What can I do in a situation like this? Wow. Okay. What about a situation whereby the woman always puts the blame on the guy? No matter how the guy is trying to please her, she's always blaming you as a guy. And in your mind now, you're trying your best. But to the lady, it is nothing. To the lady, it is nothing. Okay. Um, okay, this is a very, very dicey one, and this is the reason why you're feeling, wow, more questions. Okay. This is the reason why you are feeling that way. Honestly, as a guy, you've done so much. See, as a guy, you've done everything manly, humanly possible to please her. But you see, the reason why she is still blaming you is because you're not giving her what she wants. Take, for example, a lady comes and meets you as a guy and she's complaining. Guys, how many of us know the immediate response or the immediate thing that is running through her mind? As she's talking, what is running through her mind is, what will I tell her when she finished talking? What solution can I give to her? Can you relate? Great. But guess what? That is not what she wants. That is not what she wants. A woman that is talking to you and complaining doesn't want your solution, because with or without it, she will still do what she wants to do. She doesn't want your solution. She wants your listening ears. Yes, she wants your what? Listening ears. And you see now, she may be complaining. You're not listening to me, but you're saying, I'm listening. Honestly, okay, I will recommend a book for us to read. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We should all read that book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You see, to you as a guy, you For you, we've been taught as guys that listening, you must pay attention, you must not keep quiet. But see, for a lady to know that you are listening, you must make sounds like ah, wow, are you serious? Eh, eh, ah, hmm. Tell me something. Those things are what will convince her that you're listening. And she doesn't want your solutions. So while she's complaining to you and you're thinking about what next to say, just tell yourself she's not interested in what next I'll say. She just wants me to listen. Remember, they are the ones that do more of the talking. So you see, it is possible that you've done all you can to please her, but the truth is, you've not pleased her on her own terms. You need to get on her own terms. And honestly, I doubt if she would be able to, to even tell you her own terms. She may not. You need to find exactly what that situation is, what you're trying to do to please her. Let me give us other example. This is not a relationships session though, but let me give us other example because of this question. If you're with her, and you're working, shut it down. Shut down the work. Focus on her. Focus on her. Don't play video games when she's around. Even if she's chatting on her phone, you don't press your phone when she's around or when she's talking to you. Because see, nothing matters to a woman as attention. Nothing. That's the first thing. Nothing matters to her first as attention. That's primary before every other thing. If you can meet that one, then every other thing you're doing, what? It will fall in place. So give her your ultimate attention whenever she's around. Okay, hope I've been able to answer that. We're already out of time. Okay. I hope this is the last. I hope this is the last question. But just in case you have other questions, you can drop them. You can drop them. Maybe what we may do. I may speak to Barrister Axe. Yeah. Maybe what we may do. We may decide to start tomorrow's session earlier if we have more questions than this. Yes, if there are more questions, drop it. That's why this group is there. And please, after this conference, do not exit the group. This is not the last conference we'll be organizing. This is the maiden edition of this conference. So after this conference, stay on the group so that you would get updates on other conferences that will follow through, because we will still be using this group. Okay, so let me answer this last question. The person says, good evening, sir. What do you advise when a lady you love shows and demonstrates to you that she's really dating you as if she is doing you a favor? Wow. Wow. If the lady you love shows you and demonstrates to you that her actions are telling you that she is dating you as if she is doing you a favor. So she's in the relationship because of what she will gain. You may not really know what a woman is doing unless you engage her in a conversation and watch her eyeball to eyeball. Ask her those questions and find out if she's really lying or not. See, all these things are in her mind. So ask her. Ask her. You may not really be sure because it's the way she's showing you and the way she's demonstrating to you. And there may be a reason. The first question I would want to ask, if this was like a one-to-one session, if we had time, I would have probably found out, okay, is this how the relationship started? If that is how the relationship started, then my advice is end it. End it. But if that is not how the relationship started, then what she's doing right now happened along the line. Then there's something wrong somewhere. See, guys, before a relationship goes faulty or it breaks up, there are cues. There are signs. Yes. See, it is only PAC and it is only we know as NEPA in Nigeria. It's only the people that supply power that will take light before giving you signal. Even your data, before it expires, it will send you notification. Before your phone gets bad, it will show you some signs. Before you fall sick, your body will give you some signs. So before that relationship breaks, there will be some signs. It is difficult for a man to change in a relationship, but it is very easy for a woman to change in a relationship. Why? It is because what the man gives is what the woman responds to. Women are like incubators. Kai, I don't have time to talk about this. Women are like incubators. Whatever you give to them is what they give back to you. So if she's giving this to you long into the relationship, it means there's something wrong somewhere. And you need to try and find out how and why it started. Tell her that this is how you feel. Respond to that emotion. Tell her, I am feeling. See, try not to accuse her. You see, try not to accuse her when you're bringing it to her so that she will not be defensive. Use the other approach. Take her out on a date. Make her happy. Then tell her that it is the way you're feeling. And you want her to let you know if you are right, if your feeling is right, or if your feeling is wrong. Let her know exactly how you feel. If she's in a relationship to gain something or not, you would get to know. You would definitely get to know. And if you've confirmed that she is in a relationship because of what she will gain, please, 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 I beg you, that relationship is heading nowhere. So the best thing to do is what? Abort. Abort. Yes. Abort it without immediate